everybody. We're about to get it started. Are you ready? P2G presents Black Girls in Web3 podcast, hosted by Wanda Suero, also known as Salty Coffee, Dazzle Daniels, also known as Dazzle D, and myself, Elruby Thomas, known as Miss Ruby, Crypto Queen of Harlem, y'all. Tune in weekly as we strive to educate and elevate our community's financial literacy. We bring you professional and expert speakers, share insights from our personal wealth journeys, and introduce workshops and resources to empower you. Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com at P2G Networks TV for an hour of Black Girl Power, where we're shaping the future of finance in Web3. Peace and see you there. I'm in here tripping out, bumping to the music. All right, every week we just hear popping.
Happy Friday!
That's what's up. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to P2G's Black Girls in Web3, y'all. We here. It's Miss Ruby in the house. I'm here with my girl,
Salty Coffee.
Loving it. And Dazzle D is on the road, but she is still in the house. That's how we do it. Go, Daddy.
Blessings.
Damn, I love it. That's our word. That's our word, y'all. And we are so grateful. So we've got a show for you guys this weekend. Just to get your weekend started and I guess some of your little get your bellies bubbling off and some conversation. I know y'all all about to go off and spend a wonderful weekend with some friends, getting y'all little mimosas on and doing what you do by the pool in the water. But y'all should leave with a little conversation, some new information, and maybe something that'll cause a little bit of hecticness. I think we're going to do it today. We're going to have fun today. So today, we're going to have a little education. We're going to talk about holidays. Things that people like to celebrate, special days.
Holy.
Love to. Some of them are considered holy. Some of them are just considered special days. And we always get these really amazing, I call them Disney ideals, things that only Disney can come up with and make very marketable for all of us. They even always, it seems like every holiday has a doll, has a character. Love Disney. It makes everything fun. So with that being said, let's talk about start with the word picnic. Now, I want to give y'all a little bit of origins just to share with you. You may or may not find this offensive. If you do, I hope that you will embark or at least take in the information you're getting from this, because we use that word not to offend, but to educate people. Specifically, Wanda, will you like to share a little bit of the origins? And you don't have to give the details, but please share some of the origins of where this conversation came from.
So pretty much, when the conversation did come out about the history of the word and how it was used in the United States, there was a backlash on some people saying, well, that's not the origin. The origin of the word is picnic from France. And the definition is that it's people getting together to have a meal.
Can we give them somebody that's going to let them know a little bit of both of those explanations? We need somebody who can give you a little insight. We like Aunt Bev, don't we? We like Auntie Bev. That's right. We have got a new auntie. Her name is Bev, and she got a message. Let's go on and play that.
Hey, Auntie Bev here. The next time you decide to have a picnic, I want you to give some thought to the history behind that word. Now, picnic comes from the French language, pique-nique, which means a social gathering. But when it evolved in the United States, it took on a more sinister meaning. A picnic was a gathering by white Southerners while they watched the lynching of a Black man. They would gather their favorite food and beverage in their favorite location while they watched a man hang. They cheered, they drank, they ate. And according to the Jim Crow Museum, between 1882 and 1968, more than 4,000 Blacks were lynched. Now, some believe it was even higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? I knew. And now you do. It's amazing what you learn when you do research.
Thank you, Aunt Bev. Oh my God. Auntie Bev, anytime, sister. Come on in. See, information can change. It can shift so much in your life. It can shift how you feel about yourself, how others view you. But when you get invited to a picnic, do you ever think about really what picnics have meant to your culture? Question. What's another way we explain picnics? The idea of picnica. How do we as people of color, or should say, I don't want to say color, I say melanated folks. How do we express picnic? Got some words, Miss Salty Coffee? You're muted, baby girl. We practice on the mic.
Are you saying alternative words that if you're in a business, right, and you're trying to have this event, to
Especially
celebrate
in a business, yeah. So what
you
would
think,
you
right?
use to invite somebody out to? That's like she said, a
So
social
a
gathering.
lot of people that I know from the South, they call it a cookout.
Okay.
So they'll say, come to the cookout.
Yeah,
come
that's
to
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, family gathering, cookout, outing,
Mm-hmm. Some people say
festivities.
excursion. That's what you were saying.
Yeah. Or barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. We have an event coming up on the 4th. We're going to celebrate a little get together. We missed the 4th of July because we got rained out. So the group we put together for our event decided on we said we just go next month on the 4th. Same thing. We got a Sunday out. We're going to do it. But none of us opted in to do anything called a picnic.
Right.
And that has become, and I'm so grateful, it's unconscious to exclude the word now. Because when I was a kid, that's what my church used to have. We used to put on big paper, church picnic, business company picnic. My grandfather worked for GM, company picnic on the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
And if he knew, if my grandfather had that information, and he came from the South, okay? Even in the South, this is how brainwashed and re-educated we have been. People who came from the era in time that lived through this, their relatives, people they knew lived through this time, actually became desensitized to the word being used in major companies calling a picnic. Now, I know everybody know GM had a lot of white folks are Caucasians. I call people properly. I try to call you properly. I'm melanated,
Right.
y'all Caucasian. That's where you from. That's your people. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, those companies had huge amounts of them, and my grandfather was a minority going to a picnic. And he took his family. I went to some of them picnics.
Free food.
Of course, free food. Free food. It was at a place we never really spent time. I mean, it was at the country club.
Mm-hmm.
Of all places. Swimming, tennis courts. You know what I'm saying? Golfing. This is what they did during the whole day. Kids played. There was games and rides. There was hay rides, everything. Now, had any of us been aware of the fact that picnic stood for pick a nigga, where people sat around with their children and family and watched lynchings? I'm sorry, because it's part of my history, part of my heritage. It's part of my bloodline. I'm connected to this. And I am determined that we never, ever use that word, and you inform people. See, we're not as sensitive about people being incorrect. We do correct people without penalties. I don't mind. You mind correcting people without penalties? especially when they're in the spirit of cooperation. Because that if we could be in the spirit of cooperation, we could do anything, right?
Right.
We don't have to poo-poo you and put people down because they don't understand the history. They don't know the true history. And you have people who fight for the French reason, but the French also colonized this place. So why wouldn't the word travel with them and become as disturbed and destructive as America was at that time? Why wouldn't it?
Mhm.
What do we get to do 2024? We get to talk about it and be realistic. We don't get to fight and defend it.
Right.
We get to be with the people who will no longer suffer those things. What about y'all? Y'all feel like you could just have a discussion and we could be square on this now?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult because it's something that a lot of people don't know.
Exactly.
And then when they learn about it, it's like, oh,
A lot of them in
snap.
denial. They're either oh snap, or that happened a long time ago. It'll never happen again.
Correct.
But how won't it happen again? How won't you be subjected to it? We got to recognize that there's some words equal. So bottom line, your words come from your thoughts. Your thoughts become words. Words become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become lifestyle, character, and character becomes your lifestyle, who you are.
Right.
If we go in that pattern, you're in a space where your mind has been penetrated. You got to be training your brain. Now this is just one holiday. You know how misguided we are in vocabulary, in the concept of holidays and celebration. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God.
It's like in Canada, they don't use the word vacation.
No.
They use holidays.
Holiday. Exactly.
I'm going to holidays, holy days. So
Yeah.
they're using their days to do whatever it is that they follow.
Can I ask you a question? What it means to vacate your job?
That's why I love to say staycation. I'm having a staycation
I'm like, guys, y'all don't
because
realize.
I didn't have enough money to go nowhere.
You know damn well that we are the biggest society built on vocabulary, contracts by mouth. And to
Yep.
say words like I'm going on vacation, you could come back to no job with that.
To know, yep.
Legally by your word that you vacated your position. And they can actually hold you to it.
Yep.
But we don't know legal law. You know what we know about that? We don't know we're giving people permission to fire us.
The Black Laws Dictionary, a lot of people don't even know that exists.
Girl,
And
don't
that would
start
give
me
you-
up. Got me looking for mine.
And that would give you like if you really look in the Black Laws Dictionary, the word vacation, it's not gonna probably mean what you just said.
Vacate,
You're
abandon, abandon. Those two things synonymous. To vacate means to remove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I didn't I refuse to remove myself from my employment.
Can you
For a
imagine if
temporary
we told HR we're not using the word vacation anymore?
Yeah, how do you choose not to use that word? It just means
just
too much.
Time off. That's it.
Yes, absolutely. Earned time off. I've earned this time. Paid earned time off. Let's not get it twisted. Guys, say those words together. So
They want to play with everything else.
I know, right? We start playing around with words, vocabulary wise, and you put that in paperwork. I love it. I love it. We got so many different ways to express ourselves as communities, and it doesn't matter what your culture is. Oh my Lord, it is like we do this across cultures. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. We've got a great one. I did not know this, but I celebrate Cinco de Mayo. And I'm like, oh, happy Cinco de Mayo. I love the idea of May 5th, 5-5. Angel numbers, in my opinion, 555. That's what I'm talking about.
And some people celebrate May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with child.
May the 4th.
Dun, dun, dun. So let's take a look at what Cinco de Mayo means. Take a look. Let's dip in and take a quick look and see what we're talking about. What are they talking about with Cinco de Mayo, Miss Wanda? I don't know.
In the United States, most people celebrate Cinco de Mayo with endless margaritas and guacamole. But how many of us know exactly what we're celebrating? Many people think Cinco de Mayo is to Mexico what the 4th of July is to the United States.
Cinco de Mayo.
May.
Cinco de Mayo, maybe?
Yeah, that's not right. Mexican Independence Day is actually on September 16th. So, what makes May 5th so margarita worthy? The answer traces back to when Benito Juarez became president of Mexico. The country was in financial ruin. They had no money, honey. France saw this as an opportunity to claim Mexican land. The French stormed the eastern port city of Veracruz in late 1861 and eventually forced the Mexicans to retreat. The French then planned to conquer Mexico City by way of a city called Puebla. But Juarez, wasn't having that. He enlisted soldiers to try and stop the French from moving farther inland. Victory seemed impossible for Mexico. They were outnumbered roughly 3-1. The French had better weapons. Plus, most of the Mexicans weren't even members of the official army, but that didn't stop them from trying. Led by General Ignacio Zaragoza, they fortified Puebla on May 5th, 1862, and fought back hard. After the dust settled, fewer than 100 Mexicans were killed. The French's toll was about 5 times greater. Even though the Battle of Puebla didn't win the war, it raised national spirits at a moment in history when Mexico really, really needed it. Today, ahora, Cinco de Mayo represents Mexican pride against all odds, and it should be celebrated, like with this special margarita inspired by the spirit of El Día de la Batalla de Puebla. It combines Mexican and French liquor, representing the forces at the Battle of Puebla. In a shaker with ice, you combine tequila Cazadores Blanco with Saint Germain, lime juice, and agave. Shake it all up and serve it over rocks. Okay, mira, tan bueno. Yes. Cinco de Mayo isn't as widely celebrated in Mexico as it is in the United States, but baby, it's still a time for gathering with friends and family. Now that you know the real story of Cinco de Mayo, make yourself an 1862 margarita and start celebrating. Okay, wow. Okay, we need to wrap this up because I'm ready to go party. I just had me some cazadores, okay?
All right, everybody's celebrating. Y'all hear that? Ow.
And the thing about it is that
I
a lot of
love
people,
it.
yeah, but a lot of people are not into that. Like they did not like the fact that they still had to, like they lost the fight. So it's like, it's still not, that's why they say Mexicans do not like to celebrate.
It's
So
a
as-
sting to the heart.
Right.
And it is. I understand that because
Right.
it's the same thing with the Southerners. It's, you know what I'm saying?
The Civil War.
They have a problem with think they didn't win. They're like, fuck it, we didn't win the war. You know what I'm saying? But we're not
Right.
gonna be happy about it either. And understandable, right? Because people think
And
it's
we
their
don't
responsibility.
know,
It's not.
as far as the economic system at that point, we
Right.
don't know what France did or say, well, you're going to owe us all this money like Haiti, where they're still paying France. Yeah.
Wow.
So those are the things that we need to go deeper in
Right.
and ask the people, like, why don't you celebrate this holiday? And why do you think Americans are so into it?
Right, exactly. So crazy. And D, you missed it. See, we talking about margaritas and the whole thing and what that was actually, it was a mixture up and where that came from. But I can tell you the only margarita I ever had tastes so good because I had it at the 420 event.
The dry one?
Exactly. It was so
Love it.
delicious. Oh my
A
God.
mocktail.
It was a mocktail made with, and she got to tell us, what was it made? What was my mocktail made of? What was the margarita made of?
Kava.
Cava, baby, cava. I literally had a virgin. I can't say two virgin because it had a little.
You had a margarita.
I had a macarita. That's right, it's a macarita.
So margarita. I love
And
it.
now,
I love those.
now knowing that it has this symbolism of the battle, you are literally drinking a battle in your mouth. You're taking a battle into your mouth. So know what the hell you're doing. Don't sit around and talk to your friends about fiction. Now you get to educate them and have a nice little smooth drink to tell them what that is. So they'll know what the hell they're drinking. You
and
know?
support the country and their economic system
Exactly.
to say, I know you don't celebrate it, but
Right.
we're trying to,
Educate
incorporate the
people,
tequila from Mexico,
right. Exactly.
which is
And
another thing we need to learn. There's a lot of tequila
well,
that's sold that's not Mexican. They're actually American.
finding out, oh yes, there was an entire documentary that we watched about that. So crazy. I love it. Look, we got so much to talk about, guys. I'm trying to
I
tell you,
know.
this is an action-packed one today. Look, if you think that holiday is kind of outlandish, wait till you find out your favorite love day. My birthday is 2 days after this day. It's my favorite holiday. Why? Because it's not even a holiday. It's just a day, and you guys will find out. Let me let you hear it.
For all its popularity, history doesn't give us any guarantees as to the origins of Valentine's Day. But we do know it contains vestiges of the early Christian church in ancient Rome. The association between mid-February and romance goes back to a pagan festival known as Lupercalia, likely honoring either Lupa, the she-wolf of Rome who suckled Romulus and Remus, or Faunus, their god of fertility. The festivities began with an animal sacrifice. Then the ritualistic slapping of young women with strips of the animal's skin and blood to bestow fertility for the coming year. In the 5th century, perhaps in an effort to Christianize the pagan festival, Pope Gelasius declared February 14th as St. Valentine's Day. As for the real St. Valentine, there were reportedly several canonized by the Church. Legend has it that one St. Valentine, a defiant Roman priest, lived during the 3rd century AD under Emperor Claudius II. Claudius was an ambitious ruler. His battles required vast armies of men to abandon their young families for long periods of time, resulting in a military that was half-hearted and homesick. So determined was Claudius to stop love from sapping the will of his armies, he banned marriages altogether. Father Valentine thought the ban unjust and defied the emperor, continuing to marry young lovers in secret. The emperor eventually caught on to the priest's actions, arrested him, and sentenced him to death. It is believed that young couples he had secretly wed would visit his cell, passing him flowers and notes through the bars as symbols of their gratitude. The story continues that the condemned Father Valentine fell in love with his jailer's daughter. On February 14th, the day he was executed, it is said he passed the young girl a note. It was signed, "From your Valentine." A tradition was born. Cupid, the winged matchmaker, started out as the Roman god of love, inspired the image of cherubs for Christians, and is now a favorite of card makers and mass marketers. Our modern Valentine's Day, removed from its religious and pagan past, has evolved into one of the most celebrated holidays on the calendar. On average, Americans shower their loved ones with 180 million roses, red ones naturally, and almost 36 million heart-shaped boxes of candy, not to mention all those cards, dinners, and diamonds. All told, the holiday brings in almost $14 billion annually, giving retailers plenty to love as well. But if you're worried that you can't afford to treat your loved one properly next Valentine's Day, take heart. The poets were right. Love is really all you need.
Love it. Love it. Truth is always better than fiction. I'm gonna be really honest. That we ended up with love after being whipped to death, whipped horribly with animal skins and blood.
Did you know that Frederick Douglass' birthday is February 14, only because his mother used to call him her sweet Valentine?
Her sweet,
but they don't really know his date of
birthday.
birth.
Wow.
So they use February 14th.
Oh my. That is amazing. I did not know that. And it's awesome to have that bit of history on how affected people are by love. How powerful is love that a priest would turn against The
Yeah.
church. Well, considering he knew that they were paganistic anyway. Not shocking. It's like not shocking.
I was wanting to do a little bit more history on the young girl because they kept saying young girl. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so he's an old priest. How young is this young girl? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? But that's another story, a different topic
For another day.
for another day.
Can you imagine? Look, I'm excited to be born very close to Valentine's Day, but I would tell folks that I did learn about this a long time ago. I did more research because I want to know, why are we celebrating? Why am I spending money? What am I asking my husband for by the way, I love chocolate. I absolutely love chocolate. If you love Miss Ruby, you get me chocolate. And not a lot.
I
Can't eat that much.
like the day after when they're on sale and half off.
Yes,
How
that's
about
my
that?
favorite day. That's my favorite day because all of it goes on sale.
On sale.
My expensive ones too.
Yeah.
So I just want to
My birthday is 3 days before.
and mine is 2 days after. So y'all get us that good, okay? Hook us up. Aquarius in the house. Chocolate lovers. So look, D, you're on the road, right, baby?
Yeah.
Okay, are you back in?
No, I'm on my way back out.
Gotcha. But what do you think about Valentine's Day? How do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Or do you?
So I don't. I actually celebrate Black Love Day, which is the day before Valentine's Day.
Oh. Say you said Black Love Day?
Yeah, Black Love Day is the day before Valentine's Day, and I want to say it's about 25 years old. I actually had met the creator of the holiday on Ohio, and they have like a virtual celebration. They were having, in-person ones pre-COVID, but it's quite interesting. It's a nice rabbit hole to go down. So, yep, I do Black Love Day.
I love it. That's a great thing. I would love to share to learn about that a little more. Black Love Day. I'm digging that. I'm digging it. That's what's up. And it can be, look, I love it when people celebrate love because it is true, it is real, it is pure, and it's ours. You can have love all the time. You can have love and not war. You can pick a day to just want to love and be loved.
But you want to hear the interesting part? Why is it that all of these things are taught in school?
That's where you get indoctrinated.
But they're teaching the whole concept, but they're not teaching the real history on it. And I wish that they can do a better job at it.
What you gonna sell? Just so what can you sell if you tell the truth? You can't sell people getting burnt up and hanged. You can't sell that. Wait, watch what else you can't sell. Hold on a second. We got a next one. The myth of Thanksgiving. Now, while I'm very grateful and thankful, let's talk about it. What is it?
To most Americans, the Pilgrims of Plymouth, Massachusetts are the iconic inspiration for today's Thanksgiving feast. After the winter of 1620 killed almost half of their people, the colonists formed a relationship with the neighboring Wampanoag tribe, who taught them about fishing, planting, and hunting. By autumn of 1621, the colonists had collected enough food to feed the community through the coming winter. The Wampanoags joined the colonists for a 3-day feast in honor of their bounty. The feast probably did not include our modern Thanksgiving staple, turkey. More likely, the colonists and Wampanoags dined on roast goose, along with corn, codfish, and lobster. This 1621 harvest meal is now commonly thought of as the first Thanksgiving. Yet for later generations of colonists, New England days of Thanksgiving had little to do with the 1621 harvest festival. Theirs was a religious holiday, descended from Puritan days of fasting, prayer, and giving thanks to God. Every autumn, the governor of each colony would declare days of thanksgiving for bountiful harvests, victorious battles, or drought-ending rains. In 1777, the Continental Congress decreed that all 13 of America's colonies celebrate a national day of Thanksgiving that year in celebration of their victory over the British at Saratoga. By the mid-19th century, many states celebrated the holiday. However, the date could vary by weeks or even months. A determined magazine editor named Sarah Josepha Hale set about establishing a national Thanksgiving Day. She passionately believed that such a day would help unite a nation headed towards civil war. Hale began a one-woman letter-writing campaign, urging politicians to establish an annual day of Thanksgiving. Her efforts were finally rewarded by Abraham Lincoln, who saw the unifying potential of the holiday. In 1863, 4 months after the victory at Gettysburg, he declared the last Thursday of November to be Thanksgiving Day. By the 20th century, Thanksgiving was a welcome day of leisure from a 6-day work week. In the 1920s, the National Football League was formed. In an effort to boost attendance, the fledgling Detroit Lions devised the concept of a Thanksgiving Day game. Parades also became a Turkey Day tradition, and department stores quickly saw their value as a kickoff to the Christmas shopping season. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade began in 1924, and year after year, millions of New Yorkers braved the cold to watch the festivities. Most of all, Thanksgiving is about family. With modern life moving faster than ever, Thanksgiving gives us a day to take a collective breath, reconnect with loved ones, and remember just how much we have to be thankful for.
Boy, that plate look good. Like, woo!
I tell you. And
Wait
they
a
get to
minute.
make people spend money and eat so
Wait.
much.
I gotta go back in the beginning of that video. We changing the menu this year. We gonna have goose. We having lobster. I'm having. Well, you notice they didn't have any pig.
You saw that, right?
They nothing about pork.
No
But,
ham.
hey, whatever. We having ham this year. Anyway, I'll let you know right now. Man, I was like, wait, we can have lobsters on Thanksgiving? That's what's
But
up.
see how influential that is, because people in other countries are adapting to that.
Exactly.
Those holidays.
Considering they never were anywhere else. Thanksgiving was never, y'all notice this was not an international holiday. Celebrated and even celebrated to commemorate a victory over the British. We don't celebrate that. That's our 4th. We only wait till the big fight. I'm like, wait a minute, really? And you know what I love? We saw a woman determined. We saw the determination of a woman who would not let go until it was said and done.
The same with Juneteenth.
Yes.
The lady, I forget her name, but yeah, Juneteenth. It was
of a woman with an ideal for unity. Look at that. It is amongst this. I think it is the desire of all cultures to have that kind of a time or something for us to bring each other together. You know, a time where we can come together as family, because the rest of the world in our existence separates us all the time, pulls us apart from the household, work, school, activities, personal interest, growing.
Especially now when both parents are working or having to work,
or even the
earn
kids.
a living.
Even the kids. There's children who have to contribute to their household so that they can survive.
Oh, and they were. That's why they have labor laws now for children.
Exactly. Here we go again. Because our young people are staying home. We have households of everybody that works. That's what's up. I love the History Channel. They just be throwing it out there. They don't play. They get thorough. They be up in there. You know, talk about the demonic. They'll talk about the paganistic. Like, History Channel be like, no shame in our game.
Yeah. They may need to update it, because I do know that the Museum of Natural History, they had to revamp the whole museum. You know that, right?
Really? I love it.
They revamped the whole thing to tell the true stories.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Oh, we gonna get to it, girl. We got to do a walkthrough. We got to do a live. I want to do a live.
We should.
And just do like a take on something, one of our stories, and just go out and do it in the world.
We get in there for free.
Wait. Aren't we doing one next week though? Are we gonna do that next week live?
I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be live.
Hey. Dazzle, you ready to do it? We doing live from Dominican Republic? I know she's like, excuse me.
I'm definitely down because I'm on my way to go get my passport this week. So yeah.
I love it. I'm ready to get mine stamped, y'all. I'm ready to get mine
Like you
stamped.
don't say.
So we getting it on. We at least one of us is gonna be
I
there.
love it.
And I look forward to, because that sister gonna go take us. She gonna get us in a spot, and we gonna go visit after. When our sister set it up, we gonna start visiting and come out and blow up the spot, build it up. That's right.
Create our own nation.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to find out that information.
Nation
soon.
under P2G, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Nation on the Black Girls and Web3.
Yes, yes. Let's get it going. What other holidays do we have the biggest misconception wrapped around? One that I actually love this year too. I really love sharing, or especially on our day program, because people get the wrong idea of this day, really big time. So while it's supposed to be hot, a Christian can't stand it. They always want to change it. Don't really think they know where it came from.
From communion with the dead to pumpkins and pranks, Halloween is a patchwork holiday stitched together with cultural, religious, and occult traditions that span centuries. It all began with the Celts, a people whose culture had spread across Europe more than 2,000 years ago. October 31st was the day they celebrated the end of the harvest season in a festival called Samhain. That night also marked the Celtic New Year and was considered a time between years, a magical time when the ghosts of the dead walked the earth.
It was the time when the veil between death and life was supposed to be at its thinnest.
Sound familiar?
On Samhain, the villagers gathered and lit huge bonfires to drive the dead back to the spirit world and keep them away from the living. But as the Catholic Church's influence grew in Europe, it frowned on the pagan rituals like Samhain. In the 7th century, the Vatican began to merge it with a church-sanctioned holiday. So November 1st was designated All Saints' Day to honor martyrs and the deceased faithful.
Both of these holidays had to do with the afterlife and about survival after death. It was a calculated move on the part of the church to bring more people into the fold.
All Saints' Day was known then as Hallowmas. Hallow means holy or saintly, so the translation is roughly Mass of the Saints. The night before, October 31st, was All Hallows' Eve, which gradually morphed into Halloween. The holiday came to America with the wave of Irish immigrants during the potato famine of the 1840s. They brought several of their holiday customs with them, including bobbing for apples and playing tricks on neighbors, like removing gates from the front of houses. The young pranksters wore masks so they wouldn't be recognized. But over the years, the tradition of harmless tricks grew into outright vandalism.
Back in the 1930s, it really became a dangerous holiday. I mean, there was such hooliganism and vandalism. Trick-or-treating was originally an extortion deal. Give us candy or we'll trash your house.
Storekeepers and neighbors began giving treats or bribes to stop the tricks, and children were encouraged to travel door to door for treats as an alternative to troublemaking. By the late 30s, trick or treat became the holiday greeting.
Extortion from children.
Child extortion. Oh, wow.
And they talk about kids today. Wait a minute.
That's sick. Oh my God. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and ladies, I've got my girls on the line here. We got a beautiful chocolate golden train up in this house. Sister Chocolate Gold is here. Blessings and good evening to you. And Sister Lulu Shonda, girl, look, this is my girl. This is my girls in the house. That's what I'm talking about. You see, you see extortion from children. Look at that. Child. And all of a sudden, it's a holiday where we just go and give children, or they wear their mask happily. Ooh, you got some neighborhoods that are still dealing with that, yo.
How did they even calculate that as kids? And how did that even, like, were they being possessed by the, like, you know what I mean? Like,
now you just making stuff up, Wanda.
Right, I'm like children of the corn much.
yeah, exactly.
Children of the corn much? I mean, seriously. See, and honestly speaking, I'm gonna be very honest. I believe that they were set up to do that by their parents. They said it came by the Irish, right? Okay, so I want you to remember back in the time where vandalism and stuff went on.
It was the 30s.
It was a lot of this going on. You had a lot of parents. It was a time in the world where there was a lot of bullying and a lot of threatening people, and this had went on with the adults. So why wouldn't the kids? Children watch your behavior. So yeah, gonna give me some candy. You gonna give me my candy, or I'm gonna break your front door.
And I worked hard for it, and I earned it, and I should get it.
Get it, exactly. Especially taking that door of yours off the front. It's
The
very
fence.
hard. I'm like, you little. So they got encouraged to wear their mask, knock on doors, and ask for candy because it would be given, so they wouldn't vandalize
A trick or
somebody.
treat.
A trick or a treat, y'all. This getting insane. This getting
I love it.
shifty there. I'm just like, what? So we are coming to the end of the of course, we must end this off properly, y'all. We must always share. And what's our favorite holiday to share? The most made up, everybody got something going on in this entire planet practices.
For weeks.
Don't ask me about. Don't ask me why. And do you know that I get stuff for this holiday little before Thanksgiving and even after Valentine's? Come on, somebody. What you got? We got the holiday Christmas stand. Let's go.
It's Christmas time. But why this time? I mean, I'm sure you already know December 25th has nothing to do with Jesus' birthday. According to the Bible, he was born sometime between spring and early October, but it was absolutely not December 25th. So then what is the reason for the season? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's most likely because in the year 336, the Roman Emperor Constantine was trying to do away with paganism and really make Christianity a thing. Well, at that time, the biggest ancient festival was something called Saturnalia. This was a festival celebrating the god Saturn that lasted a little over a week starting on December 17th. The ancient Romans chose this time to celebrate Saturn because it was during winter solstice, which is when the sun is in a very specific position in the sky. Now, we won't get too far into that, but listen, once you learn why Saturday is named after Saturn and why Sunday is named after the sun, and notice how most religious activities take place on one of those 2 days, a lot of things will start making sense to you. Anyway, so Constantine thought, since everybody's already celebrating at this time, I can just make this the day that we celebrate Jesus, and the whole world can make a much easier transition to Christianity. You gotta realize that at this time, most people worshiped multiple deities and were so-called pagans. Well, since Constantine and the Council of Nicaea were hell-bent on making Christianity the most powerful religion on earth, they just slapped their holidays on top of pagan holidays so the people could convert easier. Side note, the reason why Easter is always celebrated on a different day every year is because it's always the Sunday after the first full moon of the vernal equinox. Super pagan, nothing to do with Jesus' resurrection, nothing. Anywho, Christmas trees were used to decorate Saturnian temples. Mistletoe was used by ancient druids because they believe it had mystical powers. And presents were given during winter solstice to celebrate the spring to come. Pagan, pagan, pagan. And you ain't even know it. So pagan, in fact, that Christmas was outlawed in the New World when the Puritans first got here because they knew how pagan it was. It didn't become okay till the 1680s when they realized that gift giving could be profitable. Speaking of pagan, what does that word even mean? Like, why do we act like pagan means devil worshiper? The actual definition of pagan is any person holding religious beliefs other than the main world religions. So in other words, anybody who is not Christian or Muslim. Words like that is how Christianity was able to take over the entire planet by creating a bad word for people who didn't convert. He is pagan! Kill him! Back to Christmas. Who is this guy? Well, it's Santa Claus. He's actually based off a real person named Saint Nicholas, but you probably knew that already. But did you know that Saint Nick was a bishop in the Church of Turkey? He anonymously gave 3 bags of gold to a poor family, and after that, everybody just made up this legend about anonymous gifts coming from a guy named St. Nicholas, and Santa Claus was born. Now he lives in the North Pole, even though he's from the Middle East. So that means that originally Santa Claus's gift giving was a noble act of helping the poor. But in the 1800s, companies found that it was far more profitable to make it about little kids, because of course people buy gifts for kids before they buy them for poor people. And so companies like Macy's started using Santa's name to make Christmas into a corporate capitalist fiasco. But here is the biggest point of this video. In America alone, we spend more than $465 billion on Christmas presents every year. Those are gifts for one day, $465 billion. Well, check this out. According to Charity Water, you can buy a well for $5,000 that will provide water for 250 people for 20 years. And according to Feed the Children, you can buy a meal for 300 people for $120. So if you do the math, $120 times 3 meals a day times 365 days a year, then add in the cost of the water well, you could provide 300 starving people with food and water for a whole year with only $136,400. So if we take that $465 billion we spend, we could feed 1,020,000,000 people for a year. Well, it gets crazier. According to World Food Programme's hunger statistics, there are only 795 million starving people on Earth. So that means with the money America alone spends on one Christmas, we can literally end world hunger for a year. Now let's take that one step further. If we just did away with the entire gift-giving part of Christmas, and every year we use the same money that we would have spent on presents to instead feed the poor, there would be no such thing as hunger, and the entire world would have food. Merry Christmas. I love you.
I love that boy. I'm about to go
I love
find
him.
him and adopt him. He need to be talking about being president. We're gonna talk about that with that young man. He needs to start talking, making sense.
He
'cause
knows the
made
math.
He made the math, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And when they say there's not enough money, there's not enough food, I still tell you, it's just like I say in our financial literacy classes, you are not broke. You just do not know what you're doing with your money. And because we don't know what we're doing with our money, and because we normally don't do the math, we are what is considered starving and poor. And that is all that is happening. One day of spending. How? I'm like, wait.
And then you got
That's
Cyber
different.
Monday, you got Black Friday. So yeah, for that one day.
My loves, what could we do if we started sharing that information with people? I don't need to buy Christmas. Actually, I'm not buying Christmas gifts this year. I told everybody this year, if you get anything from me, it'll be an asset. You either getting crypto, gold, or silver.
I'm
And
sharing
my relatives
experience.
they look like looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, and that's if I feel like giving it. You might get a letter with information. You might get a letter explaining how to get crypto. And that's a gift.
That keeps on giving.
Exactly. I was like, yo, pay yourself first. Oh my God. Merry Christmas. And people
Can you
think that's
imagine
valuable.
300 people? You get your 300 people, family, friends, cousins, whatever, 300. And instead of buying gifts to each other, we actually get down to the well and get a well.
Yeah. How about we just
My kids is, I make them a NFT, a charged NFT. I customize charged NFT, and I stuff it with like $100 for them.
look at
And it's
mom?
earning
I love
interest.
it.
They're earning interest. They have like 4 of them now.
Well, guess what, baby girl? We gonna be coming to your class. I'm
So
really
we have
excited.
we have to show them what that really means, because people want that tangible thing, like,
Do
you
the
see
math.
their faces.
Do
Yeah.
the math.
Yeah.
I love it because so with our Crypto Kids program, and I'm gonna just try to make sure we're all good with our content. What that young man explained was so valuable. It's just, I can't tell you when we share information about real facts and we add actual numbers, when I talk to a kid about playing all summer and then being able to buy his first computer because you played video games all summer that got you coins instead of cost your mom money who wasn't going to buy it for you anyway. What could you do? And they played with their phone, something they already had. They didn't need the newest console. They used their computer that was in their house and they played games and the coins went into an account. Could you go, well, Mom, I have a $5,000 value on my account, on my gaming account. What kind of computer or bike can we get? Mom will get you the bike because she can put the rest in a way and let it grow for your college. And did you work a job? No, you played video games. When people talk to me about not having opportunity or being broke, I tell them, no, you're not. You haven't had a conversation with me yet. So trust and believe, those are your words. Mine is a different experience. And I had to have a conversation with someone else to have a different experience of myself. I love being with Black Girls in Web3 because this whole process has been growing like wildfire. D, I'm gonna leave this to you to explain. Can you share a little bit about where we're going? And I just want to say thank you to everyone who sat with us through the explanation of holidays, because Wanda, when you brought that up, what happened in your situation, I was like, oh, we going in. It's the picnic. Oh, heck no. I was like, isn't that short for? She was like, yeah, and they don't know. And until you tell somebody, they're going to still keep doing the same thing. Oh, we got a response. I love Miss Chocolate. She said, and I'm going to post it up here. Hi, Miss Chocolate. She said, I started only buying my offspring assets a year ago. That's what I'm talking about. They've gotten used to it and love it. The first time I got this was the first year I got my elder niece, because I get the kids, the small kids. And thank you for that so much, because you just reminded me. This year, went to my niece's birthday. She is now 27 years. No, I'm sorry. She's 30 this year. My daughter is 27 this year. She's 3 years older than her. Can I share something with y'all, babies? I sat down and talked to a 30-year-old. Okay. And funny enough, the 30-year-old was open to hearing, Auntie got something for you. I reached into my purse and I pulled out 1/10 of a gram of gold. I don't know if y'all know how much gold is worth right now, but that 1/10 of a gram was almost worth $250 by itself. I told her a secret. I told her, come here. Auntie got something for you for your birthday. It's a little different than most people. I took that piece of gold out of my purse and I told her, you're going to stick this in your purse and you're never going to take it out. If you change your purse, you're going to change that with it. One of the things that I'm going to tell you, the secret about having physical gold close to your money, is it as an attractor of assets. It will attract gold. I told a baby girl, Auntie's purse has never been empty since I started keeping gold in my wallet. I've never had no money, and that includes a penny. And I mean, it works. Gold is an attractor. Assets attract assets. It actually allows you to see something physical with your money instead of going, what did I do? I mean, how many credit cards have we all spent? And you'd be like, but what you mean? I spent $600. The whole balance? And they ask you, well, what? I couldn't tell you what I bought. But I could tell you every piece of gold I ever bought. I can also tell you some of the things that the gold allowed me to buy, because I learned some new rules about gold, didn't I? Some of my girls in the chat know. Y'all know what gold and assets do. But what happens when children see it and they got all this sparkly stuff? What happens when they got silver and it's falling down? And you looking at these kids going, they're not asking questions like, what we going to buy? Y'all ever notice that kids don't ask questions like, what we going to buy, when they got something that's, y'all give kids a big box, give them a big wheel and put in a big box. They ain't going to want the big wheel. What they want, y'all?
The box.
It happens every time.
They keep it that simple. Yeah.
Children are very simple. That's why I love explaining things to them, because I'm going to explain it in simple ways, which I like this. You try to show a kid a $50 bill and then show him a silver coin this big. He's going to throw your 50 to the side and go play with the
coins. Yeah.
Yeah. But we as adults start chasing after green paper that has no value. I'm sorry, I think it's funny. And we want more of that paper because we don't think I'll get the coins with it. We think, oh, money. Go
I have
on.
a question. What would be the equivalent of savings bonds back in the day to today with crypto, with blockchain or crypto? What would it be an NFT?
It would be. It would be.
Okay,
Saving bonds would look more like NFTs. Actually, savings
those are
bonds
great then.
would look more like what D said, a stuffed NFT. D, I want you to explain the stuffed NFT because I know people are like, what's that?
Oh man, here I go. Now y'all bringing up the subject. So this is funny story. So when we were little, like me and my sister, my grandma had got us a $50 savings bond. And so that's like, yeah, that was well over 30 years ago when we got it. It hasn't even doubled in value. And my kids' NFTs have accumulated way more value. And I started doing them 3 years ago. So that's the equivalent of it. It's earning more. It has, it's earning more. It's compounding, and then you can pass it around like a hat or a gift card.
Exactly. And that's so this is one of the things that I try to share with folks. We're coming.
So we actually have a company called the Gift of Wealth, where we actually make keepsakes and custom NFTs that are charged as gifts. So yeah, it's a gow.digitalartmanagementnetwork.com. But yeah, because I mean, why give liabilities when you could do assets? Okay, I'm on Howard.
Yes.
But I mean, think about that. Like, you give somebody a picture. Like, do y'all remember like Star Makers? Like, when I was younger, we go to Star Makers and give our friends pictures of us, and we take pictures with our friends.
Yes.
Star Makers. But now you could, the same concept, or even preserving pictures that are earning interest.
That's what's up. Oh yes, guys, I'm loving this. Now, ladies, you know how hard it is to get a guy to, I'm gonna be honest, this is not an anti-man, but it is very difficult for this information to translate to men. I've done this numerous times, and it's almost like every time, if it's a woman close by, she picks up on it like that. If it's a man, he looks like me, like I have 12 heads. He's like, I don't know if that concept is going to be transferable. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's already
the men are
existing.
more, if it's not hands-on, if it's not, they're not gonna.
Guess what I figured out? I learned from a man how to explain. Look, I told you I got my game from a man. I get my game from dudes. I listen to them guys. Guys, we can stay and complain. We can complain, or we can learn their game. And how to talk to a man. Ladies, when you talk to a man, one of two things has to happen. You've got to speak to him in the language he speaks. Figure out what this guy's thing is. If it's sports, if it's watches, if he likes to collect things, sneakers, that's his language. That's when you adapt your story to his language. That's when you help him to break it down to what his passion is. Now, mind you, this is actually the basis for all sales, but whatever. You build a network that way. You get them to listen to you when you talk about what they like, and just break it down in ways that they understand. You know why? Because they're just like us. When guys tell us how beautiful we are and how nice we are and what they think about us and how they're intimidated by us, kind of takes down the defense, don't it? Now you're interested. You want to hear more. Well, guess what? So do they. Don't talk crap about them. Ask them questions and then get them to answer them. And guess what will happen as soon as you break it down and you start talking their language? I try to find out who likes sports, who likes cars, who likes watches, who likes jewelry. What guy loves his barber getting his hair done? Let's do it. Let's talk about you. And then listen. Because when you listen, I notice that the brothers give up it all. They give themselves away. And they teach us because we're there to learn. So I tell people, I get my game from a man. I get my brain from my mother, but I got my game from my dad. I had 2 of them, so I got a lot of game. Okay. And that's for all of us to learn so we can live symbiotically in great condition with our men. They're not always right. So what? They count. And let's make sure we get that feminine masculine going, because that's the power. That's the power. Let's go, ladies. Let's get this done. Black Girls in Web3. We still here. And we're doing Black Girls in
Player,
Crypto.
Miss Ruby.
Say again. Hey. Guys love me. They hate when I find out I'm married, though. They be like, what, you married? Because I talked. Look, I was the Tom girl that had all the male friends. My mother be like, what's all these dudes? I don't see hardly no women. I listen to, I had 2 dads. What you think? Who you think I'm gonna be at the foot of? They
Right.
run the world. How you gonna run the world? You don't understand the ones that run the world. See how that works? And we keep having discussions because we all matter. We're not in a war, guys. We create the planet together. Remember that? We just got to keep them on point with that. We create the planet together. And I'm too cute to say no to. At least my husband thinks so. Anyway, guys, thank you so, ladies. I appreciate you for hopping in and hopping on. Keep it up. Keep it up. Let's get up in here. And we want you on the show. Black Girls Do Crypto is an organization that reaches out to women of all origins. Doesn't matter where your background is from. We use the word black to encompass exactly that. A color that embodies every spectrum of light. Get that. It is so much more. We are so much more. So remember, we're all little girls inside just waiting to pop back out of these women who got, for some odd reason, our little girls got subdued. But guess who lets them out the door? We do. So when you're ready to come be a girl again, let's go. Because, baby, it's time. My sisters, we're going to stand together and stand up and put this world back together. We're coming together right now to build things like grant programs for teaching all the crypto, teaching our families. We're actually looking for educators. If you're interested, call us, because we need more people teaching what we teach, not just teaching about holidays, how to speak to each other and how to relate to one another, but to teach each other how financial literacy truly works, how the digital aspect, which is our entire future, actually functions, and making sure that we ourselves are part of the machine that moves and adapts our communities. We have so many things. I actually just had to send someone a list of all the things they had to choose from on our platform. I did not know there were at least 8 items. Different areas of learning that Web3 has created for all of us. And Miss Wanda?
That's how we started the topic. Because how do you brand yourself and you don't know the history? You are selling products that you're going with the flow because the United States, that's how it runs. Let's start our new Hallows Eve or whatever.
That's right.
New celebrations, our own traditions, our own, holidays or vacation, whatever you want to call it.
And
But
Look, our holiday's coming up. It's almost 420 again. It's almost
420. 420.
Dazzle said something so profound, guys. She was talking about, she's like, well, I'm going to make my own holidays, and I'm going to share something with you. As we begin to understand how to restructure society, if you are going to make yourself independent from the system that exists, you have to replace it with something. Do so. Mm-hmm. You should spare, okay, no expense at building one for your family. Because the fact is you can be creating days that have meaning to you and your family, your clan, the folks that make up your history, the life that you're building together. A lot of people want to be free, but they don't realize you're still practicing your master's ways for their reasons. And you don't know it because it's all been recreated by Disney. And that's not to say Disney is a bad thing. But Disney is a concept. Everything has to look fun and marketable. That's just it. Not telling you not to enjoy it, because I do, but I know I know the place to put that. And now I know how to build my own and share it amongst our relatives. Give ourselves meaning, like Kwanzaa. Do you know about Kwanzaa? We'll get back to you on another day. Why don't you guys come and join the conversation? We meet every week, several days a week. Give it to P2G Networks, because that's where you're going to find these ladies for real in life. And we making stuff happen. We hope you guys.
We're going to be in DR next week.
Don't forget, next Friday, we live from DR. Well, we're not all live, but one of us will be there and sharing the beautiful love and land of the land. And we can't wait till we're all there on our retreat as Black Girls Do Crypto, the whole organization. See you guys soon. We love you much. Mwah. Ladies, hop to it. It's our time. We've been doing this long enough. Let's get it popping. Peace.
Blessings.